Out of the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has announced he is resigning.
We now come to Andy Burnham, member for Makerfield.
Britain just changed, overnight, without a general election, without a public vote, without most of the country being asked a single question. On the 22nd of June 2026, Keir Starmer announced his resignation as Prime Minister.
Why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision.
Not because he lost an election, not because of a scandal that brought down the government, but because one man, a 56-year-old former bus driver's son from a council flat in Manchester, won a single by-election in a former mining town called Makerfield, walked back into the House of Commons for the first time since 2017, and the entire Labour Party machinery pivoted behind him so fast that Starmer had no cards left to play. That man is Andy Burnham, and Britain has never seen a political comeback quite like this one. Burnham won Makerfield with 54.8% of the vote and a majority of over 9,200, comprehensively defeating Reform UK in a seat they had specifically targeted as winnable. He hadn't even taken his seat in Parliament before Wes Streeting, considered his most likely leadership rival, announced he would not be standing, making Burnham's path to number 10 look less like a contest and more like a coronation. So who is he? What does he actually want to do? And why is the entire political establishment, left, right, Reform and Green, either terrified of him or desperately hoping he's the answer? Before we break this down, subscribe to British Front Media right now. This is the biggest power shift in UK politics since the 2024 general election, and it is moving at extraordinary speed. Hit the bell. Don't miss what comes next. To understand why Burnham is about to become Prime Minister, you first need to understand how catastrophically Starmer's government collapsed. Labour won the 2024 general election with a landslide majority of 172 seats, the largest parliamentary majority for any party since Tony Blair in 1997. They had every advantage: 14 years of Conservative misrule, a shattered opposition, a country desperate for change. Within 2 years, Starmer's net approval rating had collapsed to minus 46%, comparable to Liz Truss, a Prime Minister who lasted 45 days. The May 2026 local elections were catastrophic. Reform UK secured around 26% of the projected national vote and took control of 14 councils. Labour hemorrhaged votes not just to Reform on the right, but heavily to the Greens and Liberal Democrats on the left. With only 5% of Labour's 2024 voters switching to Reform and 32% going left, the party was being pulled apart in both directions simultaneously. Then, the Mandelson-Epstein scandal. Peter Mandelson, appointed by Starmer as British ambassador to the United States, was revealed to have had an extensive relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Starmer dismissed him, said he regretted the appointment. His own chief of staff resigned. The damage was done. Health Secretary Wes Streeting resigned, writing that, "Where we need vision, we have a vacuum." Over 100 Labour MPs were reportedly preparing to demand Starmer's resignation. The party that had won with a 172-seat majority was eating itself alive, and everyone knew there was only one person who could stop the bleeding. What Burnham did to get here is genuinely unprecedented in modern British politics. He was not an MP. You cannot become Prime Minister without a seat in the House of Commons. So Josh Simons, the sitting MP for Makerfield, resigned his own safe seat specifically to create a vacancy for Burnham. It was the first time since the 1965 Leighton by-election that a by-election had been triggered specifically to provide a vacancy for an individual not currently in Parliament. 61 years. That is how extraordinary this moment is. Burnham stood. Reform UK threw everything at the seat. Makerfield is exactly the kind of post-industrial Northern English constituency they have been targeting aggressively. Opinion polls projected a narrow win. Burnham won by 9,200 votes. Reform considerably underperformed, and the narrative was set in stone before the sun came up. The King of the North had returned. He had beaten Reform on their own turf, and Starmer's time was over. 4 days later, Starmer announced his resignation. Now here is where it gets genuinely significant, because Burnham is not planning to be a continuity candidate. He is not Starmer with a northern accent, whatever the Conservatives claim. The policy platform he has already begun laying out represents the sharpest leftward shift in Labour economic policy since Gordon Brown, and Westminster is not ready for it. First move, public ownership is back on the table for everything. Burnham has called for energy, housing, water and transport to be brought back under stronger public control. On Thames Water specifically, Britain's most financially catastrophic privatised utility, he has been explicit. Public ownership is absolutely an option. I would say for Thames Water, that is what should be done. This is not a timid suggestion from a politician hedging his bets. This is a direct statement that one of the largest water companies in Britain should be taken into state hands. He also wants to resurrect the northern leg of HS2, scrapped by the Conservatives in 2023 at an estimated completion cost of £36 billion, and fund it by capturing the rise in land value around new stations. Whether that arithmetic works is a question economists are already debating loudly. Second move, reversing Starmer's tax decisions on business. Burnham has said he would reconsider the increase in employers' national insurance contributions enacted in Labour's first budget, the single most controversial fiscal decision of the Starmer government, which business groups argued killed hiring and suppressed wages. This is a direct repudiation of his predecessor's signature economic policy. It will delight the business community. It will alarm Labour's left, and it signals immediately that Burnham intends to govern differently. Third move, the £2 bus fare cap nationally. This one sounds modest. It is not. Burnham has pledged to restore the £2 bus fare cap across England, raised to £3 by Starmer's government, modelled on the B network he built in Greater Manchester. For millions of working people in towns and cities across England who depend on buses to get to work, this is tangible, immediate, personal policy. It is also a political masterstroke. It is impossible to argue against cheap public transport without sounding like you don't understand how ordinary people live. Fourth move, a national care service. Burnham has long advocated integrating social care fully into the NHS, a national care service that would end the current two-tier system where NHS treatment is free at point of use, but social care costs can bankrupt families. This is the policy that has eluded every Prime Minister for 30 years. Every government has commissioned a review. Every government has quietly buried it when they saw the price tag. Burnham is saying he will fund it with a new social care levy. The establishment response has been immediate and predictable. Where is the money? This is not a clean path to power, and anyone telling you otherwise is not paying attention. Nigel Farage demanded a snap general election within minutes of Starmer's resignation, arguing that Westminster wants to crown Andy Burnham off the back of a single by-election. Reform currently leads in national opinion polls. Labour was routed in the May 2026 local elections, and the constitutional criticism is real. Starmer himself argued in 2022 that changing a prime minister without a public vote lacked democratic legitimacy. He is now doing exactly that. Critics within his own party are already circling. A Conservative MP described him as Keir Starmer with a northern accent, a politician who adapts to whatever the political wind demands, rather than holding firm convictions. Green Party leader Zach Polanski warned that Burnham must be bold or he will be bust. And the fiscal reality of Britain in 2026 does not bend for charisma. Britain has little money to spend, the economy is fragile, the cost of living crisis is ongoing, and the spending constraints Starmer faced do not disappear because the man in Downing Street changes. Nationalising Thames Water costs money. HS2 North costs money. A national care service costs money. A £2 bus cap costs money. Burnham will need to answer those questions before a general election that Reform UK is desperate to trigger. Nominations for the Labour leadership election open on 9th July and close on 16th July 2026. If no challenger emerges with sufficient nominations, this becomes a coronation. As of today, Burnham is the only declared candidate, with his most credible rival already endorsing him. Britain could have a new Prime Minister before August. The King of the North, the bus driver's son from a Manchester council estate, the man who took on Boris Johnson during COVID and won, who built the B network, who turned down Westminster for nearly a decade to prove that regional politics could work. is about to walk through the door of number 10. And the first thing he will do is tell Britain that the privatised utilities, the broken buses, the social care crisis, and the crumbling post-industrial towns that Westminster has ignored for 40 years are no longer someone else's problem. Whether he can deliver it, that is the story that starts now. Subscribe to British Front Media. This is the fastest-moving political story in Britain in years, and we will cover every development. What do you think? Is Burnham the answer? Or is Farage right that the country needs a general election first? Tell us in the comments.